first became Kamal, it was just an act.
You mumble in your sleep. You sometimes shout out names.
Nous sommes capables du meilleur et nous sommes capables du pire.
From a French political thriller to who won big at this year's Emmys, we've got an exciting show in store for you on what's hot in the world of television. And I'm joined by our TV critic, Dheepthika Laurent. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Eve.
Now, we're starting with an Israeli mini-series where Sacha Baron Cohen, a.k.a. Borat or Bruno, gets serious as an Israeli secret agent. Tell us about The Spy.
Well, it's a mini-series directed by Gideon Raff. Eve, he's the brains behind the Israeli TV show Prisoners of War and its U.S. adaptation known as Homeland, one of the more popular ones. So Sacha Baron Cohen plays Eli Cohen. He was one of the most legendary Mossad agents in the 1960s. And Eli Cohen went deep cover into Syria and mined such a wealth of high-level military intelligence that some credit him with helping Israel capture the Golan Heights during the 1967 Six-Day War from Syria. In Syria, Cohen is posing as a Syrian businessman and befriends the Syrian president, who even offers him the post of Deputy Defense Secretary. Take a look at the trailer.
My name is Kamel Amin Thabit.
The Sheikh is your only way in.
Please join me.
You've made a nice life for yourself here in Damascus. When you walk into a room, everyone wants a piece of you.
Come in. Enjoy. You can trust me with your life. I hope I can do the same. We all have secrets.
Now, Dipti, when I first laid eyes on Sacha Baron Cohen in this series, I thought he had red nail varnish on. Then I realised his nails actually been pulled out. We're sucked in from the start, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And it's a 6-episode miniseries, but it's incredibly gripping. It's really intense. And it was controversial, as you can imagine, Eve. The family of Eli Cohen slammed it, saying it distorted his work and that it played up his reputation as a womanizer. Obviously, the show being billed with Sacha Baron Cohen as its star. And it's hard to believe this is the same man who wore a green mankini as Borat. But it is a perfect way for him to show off his dramatic acting chops. And he does it really well. Even if I found him a little stiff at times throughout the series. What he does really well, though, is express how ordinary Eli Cohen was before he became a spy. There was nothing glamorous about this work, and you also do see the psychological toll that it takes on him.
Okay, so that's The Spy. And last night I actually watched the first episode of the new French political drama Les Sauvages, or The Sauvages, I guess you'd translate it as. And now it's high energy from the start. It's a pretty stressful watch. And it looks at a future where France has a president of immigrant origin. Tell us more.
Well, this show is from the French director Rebecca Zlotowski. It was adapted from a 2012 novel of the same name. Now, Les Sauvages, really in a nutshell, is part political thriller, but part family soap opera. There are some very soap opera moments in the show. The country has elected its first president of Algerian origin. His name is Idel Chaouch. Just after he wins, he's a victim of an assassination attempt, and so begins the search for who's really behind that attempt, all the while tackling themes of French identity, class, racial profiling, Islamic extremism, and white supremacy. Take a look.
Le mal est là, tapi en chacun de nous. Nous sommes capables du meilleur et nous sommes capables du pire.
Monsieur le Président de la République française.
Les plus civilisés des hommes, les plus parfaits sauvages.
Well, the first episode is very eventful. I can't wait to watch more of it. You've seen the whole thing. What's the verdict?
Well, look, there's a distinctly American feel to this show. Idel Chaouch, who's played by Rushdie Zem, is very much Barack Obama-esque. He's statesmanly, he's charismatic, he's eloquent. There's also a great cast in the show, Rushdie Zem, but Marina Foïs, who's really well known here in France. There are also a lot of newcomers. French rapper Fianso and the young actor Dali Ben Salah are magnetic in their roles. And if you don't know Dali Ben Salah, you will soon, because he's in the next James Bond film. Look, for me, it definitely holds up to the thriller promise. There are a lot of twists and turns in this series throughout the 6 episodes. You definitely don't see it coming.
Okay. OK, well, next to TV's Night of Nights, the Emmys took place at the weekend. Take us through the snubs and the surprises.
Well, you know, whatever you think of the Emmys, it still is an industry benchmark for television. Two British actresses actually this year, Seducing America, Jodie Comer picking up lead actress in drama series for Killing Eve, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge and her cheeky British comedy Fleabag that picked up 6 awards, including Best Writing, Directing, Casting and Lead Actress for Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She accepted her award in typical self-effacing humour.
And this year's Emmy is also about saying goodbye to some long-running series, weren't they?
Yeah, Veep, for instance, HBO's Veep has finished its 8-season run. Julia Louis-Dreyfus didn't get a 7th Emmy for her role as Selena Myers. Other snubs, at least for me, Schitt's Creek, an indie Canadian comedy, one of the smartest, wittiest comedies out there, didn't pick up any of the awards for which it was nominated. Game of Thrones also ending its show, nominated for 32 awards, picked up 12, but only 2 in the drama categories, Eve, including lead supporting actor for Peter Dinklage and outstanding drama. This despite, though, a final season that did leave critics and fans, I guess we could say, divided. Also from HBO, they won big at the Emmys. The miniseries Chernobyl that picked up 10 Emmys, including Best Limited Series. And by its definition, this is one of the more interesting categories. It's more unpredictable.
There were also some very political moments at the Emmys, weren't there?
Yeah, Jarrell Jerome, who won lead actor for the controversial Netflix show When They See Us, about the Central Park 5. That's really been talked about a lot this year. And what was nice was the real-life exonerated men were actually present at the ceremony and were given a standing ovation, so a very poignant moment there. Billy Porter as well, the first openly gay black man to win lead actor in a drama series for Ryan Murphy's Pose, and lots of politically charged speeches from trans rights to equal pay.
And speaking of Emmy award winning, many of us grew up with it. Some of us can quote episodes by heart. We haven't got time to test you, unfortunately. It was a worldwide phenomenon. Friends turns 25 this month.
Can you believe it, Eve? Friends first aired in September 1994, so it is turning 25. To celebrate 25 years, Warner Brothers actually sent replicas of the famous Central Park couch on a world tour. It even headed down here to Paris earlier this month, much to the joy of fans. Friends still commands big bucks. I mean, the proof, Netflix paid $100 million to keep it on its streaming platform just this year alone.
Go on then, Dip, you tell me, who were you, Phoebe, Rachel or Monica?
I was Monica, neurotic.
I always wanted to be Rachel.
Oh,
I think
me too.
Maybe I was Phoebe, in fact.
We all wanted to be Rachel.
This series is so nostalgic. Nadia Sharbit takes a look now at how the Friends cult following has endured over the years.
It's a theme song that's been there for its viewers for 25 years and has now captured the hearts of a whole new generation. 3 girls, 3 boys, and New York as a backdrop. Filmed in LA with a live audience, Friends quickly became so much more than the sum of its parts. The light-hearted comedy show ran for 10 seasons, 236 episodes, that saw its initial cast of unknowns blossom into superstars. Fast forward a quarter of a century, and at the heart of the actual Big Apple, the show's decor and memorabilia are on display, a dream come true for fans and even nostalgic actors, such as the show's lovelorn waiter, Gunther.
Just the craftsmanship that has gone into this event is astounding. It makes me a little sad to see these things again. I miss them.
Among the most surprising items are these replicas of Jennifer Aniston's iconic haircuts, a style that became known simply as the Rachel. And this ode to the 90s appears to have struck a chord with the Netflix generation, much to the delight of another familiar face.
Younger generations whose experience of daily life is very different from the one that the characters in Friends have are finding it equally entertaining and watching it over and over and over again. So I think it's just it's a little bit of magic.
A little bit of magic with global appeal. In the French region of Normandy, Émeric Fievet imagined this miniature version of the Central Park Café, a model now commercialised by a well-known toy maker. Fievet earns 60 euro cents for every box sold.
To me, Friends hasn't aged at all. The things that happen in the show could happen to me. It's familiar territory for me.
15 years after the last episode, the show has never been on a break and continues to earn its 6 stars, $1.6 million a month in reruns.
Are you going to watch it again?
I am. I've already started, actually.
Well, just before we go, Forrest Whitaker headlines a hotly anticipated show called Godfather of Harlem. Now, what's it about?
Well, this one's actually from Chris Brancato, who was the creator behind the Narcos series. He's taking us into 1960s New York. Forrest Whitaker is Bumpy Johnson, a real-life crime boss who's just been released from prison. He returns to his old neighborhood and finds it taken over by the Italian mafia. It's set against the backdrop of the civil rights movement, but deals with things like police brutality, black rights, and the heroin crisis. It's set in the 1960s. It could well be today's generation.
Okay, Dheepthika, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to leave you now with Godfather of Harlem on Epix later this month. Remember our website. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
I can't control the streets without drugs.
Where will it end?
If you go after Shin, anything can happen.
I got my family to think about. I want to get better. I can't watch you do this to yourself.
You can lose your soul. We have got a lot to lose.
What do we want? You're a black supremacist, and I'm a white supremacist. We have more in common than you think.
Black man's angry, white man's scared.
You and me are gonna be at war till one of us is dead.
Every one of these men will die for what they believe.